Why XXL will never get the freshman list right again. Let's see.
Year the XXL freshman list comes out, and every
Tell me
single
why.
year
Pay.
people complain. It never fails. It's
Damn,
rinse,
hold on.
repeat.
This is crazy. This is crazy, gang. What's up, bro?
Oh my gosh, this list is horrible. Why did they pick these people? How could they do this? This is an industry plant list. Why do they
But the conversation has started to die down since less and less people care about the XXL list every single year that it goes on. There was a time, though,
You don't like
where
any
the
of the
XXL
open people
freshman list
except
was
for
one of the
Ken Carson.
biggest annual things to
Hold on.
happen in
If you like Cardi, but you don't like Ken Carson, that's a problem.
rap. Like,
Look at this list. Hold on. Look at this list. Oh shit.
the XXL freshman list was one of the biggest
Look at this list. It's Mac Miller. What's his name? Lil B, YG. Yeah, I don't
annual
know none of
things
these
to
niggas.
happen in rap. Like,
I
people
don't know none
really
of them
cared
niggas.
about that list, and it really was a symbol of who was next up to be a star in the genre. So people being mad at who XXL picked for the list actually did make sense at a time, because that used to be a huge cosign. However, I believe in this modern era, XXL literally can't get it right. What's good, YouTube? It's Justice. I used to be paying. Today I'm back
I
with
think they
a
got it
video.
right though.
And in this video, I'm going to be letting you know why I believe XXL literally can't get the freshman list right. But before I get into that, make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Do all those things. It helps me out a ton. The XXL freshman list is an indicator of who will be the future stars of rap. Rappers who haven't quite reached that well-recognized space of superstardom and popularity, yet they're building momentum. And for the people who are unaware of them,
Only Kendrick and Mac Miller made it mainstream. YG.
the XXL list is supposed to exist as a sort of guide to who you should be looking out for on the come up. And historically, XXL hasn't been that far off, or two and
Well, see, this is the problem though. Even this year, niggas were dicking. Niggas were still saying, "Who are these niggas?" This year, like Polo G and Jack Harlow, niggas weren't saying that, but people were still shitting on XXL. Even in 2017, niggas were sitting on XXL damn near.
accurate, with names
So it's
like
like,
J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, Future, Playboy Cardi, Meg Thee Stallion, and plenty of others appearing on the list, giving it some sort of real legitimacy and meaning to the list, which is what causes the massive outrage every time a list comes out and the fans believe they got it wrong. We got our yearly XXL outrage a few weeks ago when they announced the list, but when I went and checked out the list for myself, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't see anything wrong with it. I thought that
it's
they
not a bad
pretty
list.
much got it right for the most
It's a
part.
pretty, it's a
Everyone
very
on the
good
list
list.
has
I
their
ain't gonna
own
lie.
sort of like online buzz and online support. And some people were complaining
G's
about,
good
oh,
on
well, I
the
don't know any
Harlow.
of these people. What are their names? Who are these people?
Niggas both suck.
But that's kind of the point of the list. But that also plays into the reason why I say they will never get it right again. You can say that there are a few people who probably could have made the list and maybe deserve to, like a
Like who?
Georgiana or an AZ Cheek A
Who
or
the
AZ
fuck
Cheek,
is
however you
that?
say
Hold
his
on,
name, but
nigga.
deserve
Who
to,
the
like
fuck is
Georgiana.
Georgiana? A white woman on XXL? A white woman? I can't say that. Let me chill because I'm not trying to get banned. But I'm just saying though, like nigga, I've never even heard of this bitch. Let me not call her a bitch. That's crazy. See, I'm talking crazy, but like nigga, who is this? Dead
Or
ass.
an AZ Cheek A or AZ
And then ass cheek? Really? On
Cheek,
XXL
however you
ass
say his
cheek?
name. But
Seriously?
I
No,
really
bro.
don't think that this
No.
list is that bad. The list has a ton of different internet rap subgenre flavors. BabyChiefDoIt fits that, Chicago drill wave, that aggressive style of music. Rayvon is kind of that.
They said ass cheek deserved that spot. Hell nah. Hell nah. Maybe it's either him or Rayvon. If you want to put ass cheek on XXL, you got to replace him with Rayvon.
West Coast
That's it.
storytelling lyricist. YTB Fat fits more with the traditional trap sound that we
This nigga look like a stud. This nigga look like a stud,
we've seen
bro.
over the last decade or so. Lazer Dim is like almost meme rap, but he's not really meme rap, but he's also in that like chronically
Ass cheek was
online
good.
space
Okay.
of underground music that interacts with, Plaque Boy Max and things of that nature. EBK J-Lo is that super heavy West Coast gang rap lane. Jello is commercialized rap that honestly fits like the sports rap combo lane, where his music's going to be heavily intertwined with like sports commercials and
Rayvon.
video games like Madden and 2K, kind of like the the song Pump It Up by Joe Budden. I really thought that song was like 20 times platinum the way it was used in like movies and video games, just to eventually realize that the song
Yeah,
barely
look
was
at
like
Joe
gold. That was
Budden,
like one of the
nigga.
most mind-blowing things that
Look
I've
at
ever
Joe
existed in
Budden.
my life. But you get the idea. This list spreads out over a bunch of different niches of rap. The reason I say
Pump it
XXL
up.
will never get it
You
right
know what's
again.
crazy? The first time I heard Pump It Up, I think it was the Jay-Z diss on 2K. The first time I heard Pump It Up, the beat for Pump It Up, it was the Jay-Z diss on 2K. Um, where Jay-Z was dissing Joe Budden on the beat.
Is
Yeah.
because it's just so
I
hard to
think it was like
predict who will
2K12 or
actually
some
be the
shit.
future stars of rap. The internet has
I'd want the
expanded
biggest fat ass
so
ever
far,
to.
and there's so much
Wait,
opportunity.
what? So you would want the biggest fat ass to ever exist than Vaughn? What are you talking
There
about?
is a million different lanes in which somebody can be a star in rap, as I just described not too long ago. Just looking at the list, the fans of Ray Vaughn probably have never heard of BabyChiefDoIt. Despite them both being rappers that are on their come up, they're from such different worlds, they might as well be from different genres of music. They both do massive numbers though, as somebody who is an upcoming artist.
Does Ray Vaughn do massive numbers?
Separate bubbles, these separate subgenres of rap are so big on their own. However, just 5 to 10 years ago, there weren't as many subgenres of rap that XXL actually had to give space to on their list.
That's what I keep saying. The reason niggas don't know who anybody is because we're all in bubbles because of the internet. We don't have to interact with niggas, so we don't have to listen to As Cheek. We can just ignore niggas like Ray Vaughn.
Maybe a few, maybe a handful, but it's nothing in comparison to what we have now. Just look at the 2020 list. Polo G, NLE Choppa, Lil TJ,
look at
Fabio
Rod Wave.
Foreign,
This nigga looks crazy.
Rod Wave, and Lotto all entertained somewhat similar audiences or had some shared fans. In the 2015 list, Fetty Wap, Dej Loaf, OG Mako, Shy Glizzy, K-Camp, and Goldlink all entertained.
This got crazy numbers. Yeah, this is. I guess if I diss somebody, I don't know. I wouldn't count that towards his views.
The rap game has expanded so much now that we are pulling people from completely different spaces and still having to respect them. More than that, though, with the internet dominating the music space and taking away power from the traditional music platforms or traditional music pipeline like the radio, TV, and entertainment conglomerates, people are blowing up faster than ever, but at the same time, they're falling off faster than ever as well. With the combination of TikTok, streaming services, YouTube, Twitch, all it really takes is for one or two of your songs to blow up and you're going viral beyond your wildest dreams, your wildest imaginations. You are just a few songs away in some cases from being one of the biggest rising stars in the genre. Now, it doesn't always happen that fast, but all it really takes is a hot couple of months, which can happen on the internet.
Yeah, look
you
at
can have
Ice
a hot
Spice.
5 to 6 months and you're in line
Yo,
to be a
Ice
XXL
Spice, I
freshman.
ain't gonna lie.
Just look at somebody.
I don't think. Name someone better than Ice Spice. Name a rapper or name anybody that's better than Ice Spice right now. I'm gonna keep it a buck. You can't name one.
Like Jello.
You can't name one. Skinny Ice Spice, thick Ice Spice. It don't matter. Ice Spice is number one.
Has like 3 official songs out, maybe 4 official songs out right now. But he is on the list. And when you look at it from the perspective of his clout and his buzz, it makes sense. Now you can say, oh, well, you know, Jello hasn't put in the work. He hasn't dropped enough music. He doesn't have a track list of music to be considered a XXL freshman. But when you look at the numbers, you understand why XXL picked him. There's no real metric that you can really hold these artists to when it comes to trying to judge them for the XXL freshman list besides internet clout and numbers. Because you can say, oh, well, you know, judge them by their discography and how good their music is, but that's subjective at the end of the day. Some people might think this style of music is garbage, and some people might think that same style of music is amazing. You can say, oh, well, we need to judge them based off their rapping ability and how well they can actually rap. Because
this nigga said Kim K is better than Ice Spice. On what planet, nigga? Not on Earth. Nigga, not even on Mars. Not even on Jupiter.
You know, maybe that other stuff, internet clout and stuff, that goes away, but rap skills really matter. And you can say that as well. But if that were the case, then somebody like Playboy Carti would have never made the XXL list, or Lil Uzi Vert. And a lot of people at that time, which Lil Uzi can rap, but regardless, that's another topic. But a lot of people at the time, when they made the list, their separate lists, people were saying things like, these guys don't deserve to be on the XXL freshman list. And now, with hindsight being around, we can clearly tell that that would have been a massive mistake to leave off Playboi Carti from the XXL freshman list, because he doesn't rap like a traditional rapper. So you kind of do have to just go based on who's hot at the time, who's popping at the time. And sometimes it doesn't even take 5 years for us to see that artist.
It's a 13-minute video, damn.
When Lil Pump and Smoke Perp made the XXL list in 2018, it wasn't a shock. They both had
2018 might have been the worst XXL list. Let's look at, hold on, 2018 XXL. Damn, nigga, hold on. 2018 XXL, hold on. It's finna start playing the song. Make sure. Because it was like JID and nobody else, I'm pretty sure. Who was on this shit? It was Lil Pump, Smoke Perp. I don't know why Smoke Perp was on there. Did Smoke Perp ever had like good music? It was Ronaldo's fiance. Nigga, I'm not looking up Ronaldo's fiance, nigga. Nobody knows who that is. JID, this was like Teflon Don or something. Like, do niggas still listen to her? Black Boy JB, that nigga's been quiet ever since. It was Ski Mask. Niggas don't even listen to Ski Mask like that. Trippy Red. It's really two niggas on the list. Cause everybody else fell off. Crazy stuff. It's crazy. Pause, nigga.
Massive songs before the list. Lil Pump specifically had Gucci Gang taking over the world, yet anybody with a bit of sense knew Lil Pump was a fad and that he would fall off. But they were people that you just couldn't not put on the list at the time. But by the time 2020 came around and they had already fallen off, Lil Pump was an easy target and an example of XXL really having no choice but to get it wrong because of how unavoidable and how popular he was at the time. But most people still saw Lil Pump as a guy who would probably fall off. However, one that might hurt a little more is Roddy Ricch. There was no leaving him off the list in 2019. He looked like he was going
Trippie Redd fell off too. Did he? I don't think so. I wouldn't say so.
The next big star from the West Coast.
I mean, I guess he did. Yeah, I guess he did.
But by the time we get to 2022, maybe even like the end of 2020.
The only reason Roddy Ricch fell off is because he refused to drop music. I don't know why. The nigga just decided, yeah, man, I'm finna, or maybe his label, but the nigga just stopped dropping music.
21, he had kind of already fallen off massively. These new artists don't have to go through the traditional industry pipeline that solidified them as prospects of the future, and specifically prospects for the XXL freshman list anymore. Back even like 15 years ago, like, you had to kind of go through a traditional route. You started off in your city, maybe even still passing out CDs, but you had to build some sort of buzz in your local town, your local area, and then you move on to maybe performing at some clubs, maybe some parties or something like that, and then you end up maybe on the very, very local radio station, and somehow a label will notice you from that radio station and maybe sign you, and then they try to pair you with some of their bigger artists, and then your song starts getting more exposure. Maybe
I don't even know about a KSI feature.
Regional or maybe even a national radio station, and you kind of go through these steps of progression as an artist that kind of helps solidify you to be somebody with a foundation before you get to that XXL freshman list where now you're on the world scale. There was a much more traditional route, which kind of helped keep some of these flashes in the pan at a minimum. Of course, it still happened, but there weren't as many as there are today. Now the traditional route is completely dead. Like, I've seen people go from complete nobody.
Not gonna lie, I'm just happy Doechii fell off. What do you mean? I don't know if she's falling off. And nigga, you know I'm one of the biggest Doechii haters of all time. I don't think she fell off. She just like hasn't dropped music in a minute, you know? Like, if she drops another album, I'm sure it'll do numbers, maybe.
National scene, and people in their town don't even know who that is. People in their city have never heard of this artist, but now this artist from their city is supposed to be lined up to be this next big thing. It's a complete skip of steps that didn't exist before the internet became as popular as it is now. When it comes to picking these guys as prospects for the future, it's a complete mystery box with the way the internet exists today. When you look at these guys as prospects when they're going up and they're super, super hot, you can point to somebody like maybe Lil Pump and Tekashi 6ix9ine and easily say, oh yeah, that guy's gonna fall off. He's just a
6ix9ine fell off the face of the earth. That's crazy.
2 to 3 years. Don't even worry about
That's
it.
crazy.
Don't pick him as a XXL freshman. But at the same time, people would have pointed at somebody like
you think
Lil
Doechii
Yachty
would make it to XXL? She did.
And said those exact same things and would have been completely incorrect. And on the other hand of things, like I mentioned
Every time she drops, everyone and their mama be hating. Is me included. Uh, her music isn't really that good.
earlier, you could have looked at
I'm keeping
somebody
it a
like
buck.
a Roddy Ricch and said, "Oh yeah, that's a guy who's for sure going to be one of the next big things, one of the next guys to carry rap as a genre on his back over the next 10 to 15 years." And where we exist today, that is very much not the case. So, for as much as you can say, "Oh, well, there are things you can look at, you can point to, oh, well, some of these guys are gimmicky, some of them are not." It really all is a mystery box at the end of the day. As good as it may seem for some
Word.
of these artists to have this like immediate overnight success sometimes where they just go from a complete nobody to one of the top
Damn,
names
nigga,
in the
move out
genre in
the
terms of
way.
rising star,
Damn.
at the exact same time, these guys are
Bruh,
kind of
nigga,
blowing up without a real fan base. Like, they have fans because they're hot and their music is trendy,
nigga,
but when
Black and
that
Ice
time
Spice. Like,
comes,
come on,
when
bro.
they eventually are down, and it's gonna come eventually because that's just how music works for everybody, there's gonna come a period where you are down. A lot of these artists, they end up bottoming out because they don't have a real fan base. They were
Pause.
just hot, they were just trendy. They didn't have to spend time working and building a foundation of, okay, I got 15,000 people in my local area, and then I move up to my state side, and now the whole state is kind of rocking with me. I got multiple millions of fans. Then I go nationwide, and now I have tens of millions. They don't really have that foundation. They just kind of immediately rocketed up to the top, and the internet takes away as fast
You almost ended yourself after listening to that Timeless remix. I ain't listened to that shit.
as it
I'm
gets. The
simping. How
reality
am I
of the
simping?
rap and music scene of today is that it's even more
How am I
volatile
simping?
than it's ever been before
I'm just trying
because
to
of the
look at
internet. Despite XXL having a questionable at
art.
times track record, and even I have criticized some of their lists and thought that they missed people and should have had this person on and this person off. Just looking at the landscape of where rap is today, it's impossible to get these lists even half right at this point, because when you look at some of these guys that they're picking, you give it like 3 years and you think to yourself, who on earth ever thought that this guy would be a star? Who on earth ever thought that this guy would be a superstar in rap? But at the time, it made a lot of sense. The internet was rocking with him. So for as much as I have criticized XXL personally when it comes to their list, especially over the last like 7 years or so, at the same
Huh.
time, I can't really give them too much crap for it, because I don't think that there's any person or any conglomeration of people that could pick a list based off of their internet hype, based off of their
Conglomerate. Is that a
internet
word?
clout, and be right even half of the time when it
Is
comes to who they're
conglomeration?
picking.
Hold on.
Like, a few years ago, maybe like 4 to 5 years ago, I
I
was
feel like
ready,
that's not a
probably like
word.
4 years ago, I was ready to die on the hill that Summers should have been picked for the XXL list. I was pissed. I was furious. I couldn't believe they left Summers off the
That's really a
XXL list.
word.
Now, I still
Damn.
love Summers to this
Okay,
day, but
shit.
when you look at where he is now and where he was 4 years ago, there's not that much of a difference. Like, that's no
Yeah.
disrespect to Summers. I like the guy, I like his music, but him being left off the list, in hindsight,
Not gonna lie, Sabrina Carpenter is better. All right, bro. Okay. Sure, bro.
wasn't a
Facts.
terrible idea. Like, he's not a bad rapper, but he didn't blow up to be this huge star that was going to be a
Nigga said
major name
Sabrina
in the rap
Carpenter
scene,
is
which is
better
kind of
than
the
Ice
goal of the
Spice.
XXL
What are you
freshman list.
talking
So,
about?
it's just really hard to tell in this era. It's just really hard to tell what is internet hype that's here to stay and who's going to be a fly-by-night guy who, in 4 years, you look like a complete idiot for trying to
Nigga,
talk about
Sabrina Carpenter can't even hold Ice Spice's
as
shoes,
a
nigga.
future star in the game. But if you made it this far, I greatly, greatly appreciate you. Make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe, do all those things. It helps me out a ton. I go by the name of Pay. Yeah.
Like, there's that as no metric you can use to say Sabrina Carpenter is better than Ice Spice. Cali?